Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are at the Clove. Mesh,
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
thanks for coming.
Of course, happy to be here.
Very exciting news. So let's talk about this beautiful building that is a part of a 32-acre master plan right here in Etobicoke.
Yeah, I mean, we were here not too long ago talking about the project overall. As we get closer to launch and these specific dates that we want to talk about,
Right.
we just want to kind of drill down and talk about what an awesome opportunity this is. I think this is the best project, best opportunity that you're going to see in 2024. I really
think so too.
You know, moving forward, we've got some amazing news in the industry about potential rate cuts and things getting better. So
It's happening.
it couldn't be at a better time to at least get this on your radar.
It is happening for sure.
Yeah.
So having said that, this project is backed up by Mattamy Homes and
You may have heard of them. You may have heard of them. Small builder.
like many
Small boutique builder does like
course.
100 homes a year.
big ones, huge.
Complete joke. Complete
Complete
joke.
joke, yeah.
They're the biggest, if not one of the biggest in North America. They, you know someone. If you live in the GTA, you know someone
Yes.
that lives in a Mattamy home.
Or you have purchased from Mattamy
Or you
before.
have purchased a Mattamy home before. So the name says it all. you know?
100%.
The name says it all.
So, but what does that mean, like having Mattamy Homes and Quadreal as a backup here on this project?
It's a great question. So, I mean, you've probably heard, you've probably seen, you may even know someone, maybe even yourself. Over the last few years, when we have these boom markets, it seems everybody and their mother's becoming a builder, becoming a developer, starting some things. And it sounds great, but then the horror stories start coming out, right? You start hearing stories of new builders taking deposits and then going bankrupt, or unfortunately investors, buyers buying projects and they don't get completed, or they run into financial difficulties, so what you paid for the product now is doubled. That's not going to happen with an established brand like Mattamy with Quadreal. I mean, this is what they do. This is their business. They've been doing it for decades and decades and decades. So what does that mean? It means that you have some level of guarantee that when you move into a project like this, you know what you're paying for. The deliverables will be there, meaning you should close on time. I always say should, because we can't expect any delays.
Of course.
But if anyone's going to get it done, it's these two names. It's Quadreal and Mattamy, because it's a business and they have an entire project. I mean, you touched on it, right?
I mean, they have the infrastructure behind them. They have the expertise. They have the experience.
Yeah.
They will not cut corners when it comes to the project itself, right?
Yeah.
Because they're putting their name in one of the biggest projects in GTA, Toronto GTA for sure.
And just touching on that briefly too, the whole Quadreal part, right? So they do so much commercial work, they retransform so many downtown cores, and keep in mind the retail space that's happening at the bottom of this project, over 200,000 square feet, that's going to have full-time staffed employees, whether that's security, whether that's maintenance crew, all
Right.
managed by Quadreal. So they have a vested interest to keep the ship moving in the right direction,
Okay, so this particular building,
Yeah.
this condo building is the number one out of the 15, right?
That's right. So just back, I know you talked about it. So just taking one step back, to give you a scope, this is 32 acres that they're redeveloping. Now, Rome wasn't built in one night. It's not going to happen
course.
overnight. But I think the phase plan is going to be anywhere from 12, 15 to potentially 20 years where this entire landscape's going to shift. And I always believe in being first into the party. If you're first into the party, you get to sit back, eat the good snacks, have a couple of nice drinks, and see what everybody else is bringing to the party. And that's really
100%.
what's going to happen here, right, with the first building.
So it is definitely important having the positioning and investing not only in the right time, but being the first one in the project. So one unique feature about this particular project is that it's being built like on an island, basically.
Yes. Yes.
So that's something unique.
Exactly. So, I mean, the entire site map, the entire plan itself is fantastic. But the Clove, which is what we're here, this beautiful showroom, what we're talking about right now, it's going to actually be a standalone building, whereas the entire, let's call it campus. The rest of the campus
Right.
is going to be all as one big phase project, where the old Cloverdale Mall is. Okay, that's what you can
Right.
see behind us. So, some people might love the idea that, hey, we're part of this community, but there's a small road that separates us. We have a little exclusive.
Yes.
And like segueing into the fact that there's some models and there's some suites in the Clove that we've seen as of right now that are unique and the rest of this site plan doesn't have? Maybe they will later, but I want to talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, so what I would like to touch on is like this particular condo structure
Yeah.
has 606 units.
Building, yeah.
The building itself.
Yeah.
But they have that variety that it's kind of hard to find in one project.
Yeah.
So we've seen terraces
Yes.
that range from 700 square feet up to 200-300.
Isn't that crazy? 700
That-
square foot
that's
terrace.
huge.
That's bigger than condos. That's bigger than a condo.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's bigger than most condos, right?
condos, sure.
So then the variety of buyers and the ability to enter the market, because don't forget, like these builders sometimes when they're building these developments, they do not leave room for studios. I know it sounds funny,
Yeah.
but they have one or two
Sure.
in a building like that, so they can say we're starting
starting
from
at
a
this point.
particular point
You
or
got it.
price,
You got it. Yeah.
which is a great strategy. But what about the rest? If somebody really wants to be in the market or an investor and stuff
Sure.
like that, and if you have 2 or 3 left, like then you dry up pretty quickly when it comes to that.
Sure.
So that's one aspect that I really like. The other one is that the ability to purchase a product with a terrace.
Yeah.
And then the third one is the townhomes on the lower floors.
So that's huge because we're in a transitional stage, I think, in society. Let's go there a little bit because
Okay.
I think growing up in the GTA and a lot of other major North American cities, I think if you've lived here for over 30 years, you kind of know that suburban living or city living was always a given, and everybody had space and everybody had things. Well, one of the disadvantages of so much urban growth is the fact that your city becomes dense. And it's nice to have these big things, but the problem is if you're connected to the city and you're always coming into the city, what then happens? You're spending all your time commuting, okay? So we have a lot of people that don't want to leave the city, but they just can't find the right product for them or the price is too high. Well, when you have some of these townhouse units, they're about 1,200 square feet, you have ground floor entry. So now you feel like you're in this beautiful townhouse, but you're in this amazing community. You can walk next door and you have a coffee shop. You can go, all these things are there. If you don't want the condo, you've got bigger suites you can have. So it really feels like you're right sizing this next stage of life, right? Versus, the notion was always like, oh, I don't want a condo. I feel like I'm locked in. There's no community. It's just 4 walls. This is not the case. This is really a community where a lot of people are going to share the same values as you, I believe.
Yeah, so I also believe that the strategy or the mindset over these years, a few decades changed, right?
Sure.
Like if we go back, 20, 30 years ago, like it was not unusual for someone to leave the city and then the kids to follow and the grandkids to follow and all of that stuff. But in today's day and age, a lot of people don't want that sacrifice.
Well, I think we've done a 360. And so what used to happen is 40 years ago, nobody really wanted to live downtown. Maybe midtown in the skirts, yes. Okay, if you had money, you'd fine. But downtown wasn't what it is today. And so the better life was in the suburbs. People who needed to work went downtown and then they retreated back to a better life in the suburbs, even here in Etobicoke, in Mississauga, you
Sure.
name it, okay? Now what's happened is, all these cities have become so dense and so busy, and now the Toronto core itself has gone through revitalization.
100%.
I find more and more of our clients or friends are now saying, listen, we're in the suburbs, which is great, but we do all of our insert whatever, shopping, entertaining, working, meeting friends, clients,
Commute, yeah.
doctors, they're all in
Entertainment,
the
yeah,
city.
100%.
And so now everybody's coming back. And the infrastructure wasn't there 3 decades ago, but it's here now. In fact, from what we're seeing, the meetings we're having, the tables we're going to sit at, the money is all coming back to the city. And so now
Yes.
people are saying, wow, like other major cities around the world, why would I need to drive when I'm older when all the infrastructure's here? Okay, why would I need to do X shopping, grocery, entertainment when I can jump on one system?
Medical, whatever. Yeah,
Exactly. So in fact, it's gone the other way where all the services and quality of life items are back here in the city, back in the 416. And so I'm noticing basically a transference. People that have lived in
100%.
Canada for a long time, maybe immigrated here over 4 decades ago, now the suburb life is more taxing than the city life. whereas it was the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I will not drift too much here, but just to give you an example, what happened to me, and I'm sure it happened to you as well, right? Like that sellers that are selling currently, like as we're saying at this point, like none of my sellers, if any, it's a small percentage that they left the city.
Yeah.
They stayed within.
Of course.
You know, maybe they downsized.
Of course.
They took a different approach, a strategy, and whatnot. But I'm finding that people are waking up to that particular lifestyle, and I feel that people do not want to be tied up with all that real estate, and they want to have that key, and they want to close it up, and they want to travel, they want to see the world, they want to be near their kids and grandkids and all of that stuff. So that's my experience. It has been for a few years now.
Sure.
And it's been trending like that. So, but let's touch on something with this particular building. So, what will be the average price per square foot? Like everybody wants to know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if we had a magic crystal ball, we could tell you right now, but you know, like builders and everybody else, they have to hold some things close to their chest. Now, we do know that the average will be about 1,100, right?
Right.
Meaning some units, the bigger units, probably slightly less square foot, so get us in that 1,000 something range,
Sure.
right? And then the more marquee units, just like everywhere else, right, are going to be higher than that. But what's important to keep in mind is not so much just the price per square foot, it's the style of unit you're getting. Because in the past, let's say, you know, the price per square foot was even 12 or 1,300 square feet. Well, if they're giving you 1,200, 13 square feet, but the only options are 100 square feet plus, becomes an expensive operation. But if you've got units that you can purchase in the 400s, in the 500s, in the 600s, well, those prices, rewind the clock, are circa like 10 years ago prices for a product of this caliber.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of people may say, well, you can find something better in today's market. Sure. But as rates continue to come down, as we get out of this last 2 years of difficult times, you know, whatever's been sitting around, that inventory will be absorbed. This project is slated to close in 2028, 2029, in that range. And I'm going to argue to say by the time that this rolls around, you know, there's going to be nothing else like it, and the prices will have come back to a more, you know.
Yeah, definitely more stable and stuff like that. So we have seen some of these layouts, and I can say for sure, I guarantee you will like it. I loved what I have seen. I think they've done a great, phenomenal job when it comes to the different corners of the building and how they set up these units and whatnot. Like it's balanced well. You know, you get a hallway in some of these places. You know, like it's I like that actually. You know what I mean?
So I wanted to segue in the next topic, if that's
Sure.
okay with you.
Let's
so
go.
Ellis just talked about it. So don't take our word for it. I mean, you always do. So we thank you for that. But we have an exclusive exposure event for our clients, for anyone watching this Saturday on the 4th, okay? And it's exclusive for brokers who are friends of the builder to bring their clients or bring potential people who can come take a look at the project. You get a first eye view before the general public. The week after, on the 15th, 16th, we'll be able to actually give you pricing, floor plans, you could buy a unit. But if you're really interested in getting in here a week before, contact Ellis, contact myself. Happy to put you on our list, bring you through, and get to see what we're looking at, what we're touching. You'll be at the ground level. This is the time when you want to be in.
This is what you need to do if you're looking in this neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Having said that, at the end of this video, you will be able to click on our video that we did a few weeks ago regarding the entire master plan in this community. So please like, share, and comment, and see you all next time.
All right, take care.